I'm going to stand in there and I'm going to hit them. So when they want to bring that sellout blitz for me, all right, you're going to get me, but I'm going to get you. And that's exactly what happened. And going into the game, I told our equipment guy, Pop Lou, I said, Pop, I need some rib pass for this game. I need rib pass because I know what they're going to do. You know what he told me? I ain't got none, homeboy. I'm like, what? So sure enough, first quarter, they get me. Bam. 2 outside blitzes, outside linebackers. They meet at the quarterback. Bam. I get hit. Next pass, I try to drop back and throw. And as I'm trying to throw, my ribs just yank at me. And then I try to throw again. They yank at me. Missed 2 passes in a row. Coach Springs, rest in peace, Ron Springs. He goes over to Pep Hamilton. Hey, Pep, you know, you may have to get ready for this game right here. I don't think Jay gonna make it. You know what Pep says? Oh, no. I'll talk to Jay. He's just not setting his feet. I'll get him right. He just not setting his feet. And I'm like, man, Pep, no, they got me. Then at halftime, I go in there, close game, and here come my equipment man, Pop. He say, hey, Jay, man, put these on. He give me rib pads. I asked for rib pads before the game. You give them to me at halftime. And, you know, the rest is history. I figured it out and bombed on Betty. But that defense they had there, they were going to hit you good.
Yeah. Hey, Jay, let me ask you another question, you know, a football question.
Yep.
Me and Mr. Campbell, we were having a conversation last night, and we were trying to figure this out. After Willie Totten was drafted, I believe, by Buffalo in 85, 86, were you the next quarterback from the SWAC to be drafted? Was there anybody drafted in between you guys?
Yes.
In HBCU football?
Yeah, Clemente Gordon from Grambling. He had a shot, I believe, with the San Diego Chargers maybe, but he was a late-round pick. Clemente Gordon was. That's the one that comes to mind. I know I'm missing one, but it seemed like, you know, I've been the last out the MEAC, and I know
they questioned a guy by the name of 747. I don't know if he was drafted.
He was before me. Yeah, he was before me.
He was before you.
Yeah, the 747 Joe Walton. Yeah, and I mean, you know, those guys can throw. I mean, he could throw. Played in the USFL, I believe, for a while, the Showboat. So he had a little run there too.
The reason why I asked, I consider you, Steve McNair, all pioneers in this regard. When we were little kids, we were convinced to switch positions if they wanted a career at the next level.
Yeah.
Were you ever offered the ability to change positions to get a shot at the next level?
No, it was you know, hey, maybe they didn't think I was a good enough athlete as those guys you just mentioned, but no. My goal was always to be a quarterback. You know, growing up in LA, you know, segregation, racism not as in your face as it is down south and maybe back east. So growing up in LA, where I seen Warren Moon, you know, he went to a rival high school of mine. You know, Vince Evans right there up the street at USC. It was hard out of college getting schools to agree for a black quarterback. I mean, I had UCLA right down the street from my house, and I couldn't even take a visit, unofficial. They told me I couldn't even take an unofficial visit there. But I always had that in my heart that I wanted to play quarterback. That was the position I played. A couple schools told me I could play linebacker, but I never played defense in high school. So I didn't have me play linebacker. And, you know, my dad was steadfast. You know, I've known Shaq Harris since I was born. So that was a benefit I've had. James Shaq Harris used to have me working out with junior college wide receivers.
You're not kin to him, are you, Coach?
Well, that's my godfather. Yeah. Okay. So that's my godfather.
Not blood kin, but
not blood kin, but that's my godfather.
Right, I got you.
And with my dad, Louisiana boys, and he actually played, you know, in college with my first cousin. So I always had those guys in front of me that said, you know, you can play quarterback, and told me what I would have to do. You know, it was always in front of me. It was, you know, Shaq told me you got to dominate at this level, and you got to do that. When I played in the NFL, I was the 6th black quarterback. There were only 6 black quarterbacks in the league when I came in as a rookie.
Yeah. So Jay, you from California? Did your people move out of there? Are they from Mississippi? Or, you know, most people from California from Mississippi. How you get so black?
Louisiana, Texas.
Louisiana, Texas. My daddy's from Colfax, Louisiana. He was from Colfax, Louisiana. Got a lot of family in Monroe. So I say most of my folks are Grambling folks, you know. Okay. So I got some relatives that went to Grambling. So and then my dad went out there. He left Louisiana when he was 16. Because my grandmother said, "You will die out here." And he went out west. And never went back. Never went back.
Right.
Jay, we have a super chat here from Johnny Thornton, and he says, Jay, I'm an NCCU alum, 1978. I carried the ball a few times in Green Stadium. Please don't hype up Howard versus NCCU as a rivalry or
It's
teams.
not.
Extra. I think he's trying to get some
Thank
attention.
you, Jay. Thank you.
It's a new rivalry. It's new. I mean, we lost some of the ones we used to rival with. When I was there, it was A&T and Florida A&M were the ones where our rivalry games in South Carolina State. But when you lose those, you got new rivalries. And the past 2 years, that game has meant something. The Central versus Howard game has meant something in the new MEAC.
It's meant 50.
Oh, that number gets it started right there. That number gets it started.
Y'all traded 50 burgers, didn't y'all, Jay?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Jay, I wanna start a give me 5 because you have had a unique ability to see errors. So one of the things we got, as you know, there's a lot of younger people. Dion brought a lot of younger people in. You know what I mean? That were interested. So I'm gonna do a couple of give me 5s. Give me the 5 best players that you played against when you played.
5 best players I played against. John Theory from Alcorn State.
Drafted by the Bears.
What was that?
Drafted by the Bears.
Yes, drafted by the Bears. Joe Mumford from South Carolina State. Who played? I want to say Matthew Steeple from Morgan State went on to have a great career in semi-pro football, indoor football. You got me thinking. You got me, and I'm missing folks, and I'm gonna hear about it.
Did you play against McNair?
Yep, Steve McNair. I was thinking defense. Steve McNair, obviously. Terry Mickens, the wide receiver from Florida A&M, was real good. Marcus Hinton, the 6'6" wide receiver turned tight end that played for McNair at Alcorn State, he probably the other guy to round out that list.
All right. Now let me ask you the next give me 5. Well, one of the things that you've been able to see is now you've seen the newer generation. Give me 5, or just overall. So we'll just say the 20th century and the 21st century at the cut line. Give me 5 of the greatest players from the 20th century, to Jerry Rice and that. But now the new guys that you've watched, that a lot of guys, because they have not made the NFL, but they're great players. So give me 5 of the old school and 5 of the new school.
All right, let me start with these newer guys. I'm gonna tell you the guys I've covered that I've seen. Yeah. And I've got a little run in it now. Bruce Eugene, Grambling State University. I mean, the way he dominated through the SWAC, he made it look easy. The most electrifying player, and he's got the all-time great, Tariq Cohen, the running back from North Carolina A&T. I think there's no debate. Those two will probably be the most dominant that I've seen. I saw Tavares Jackson when he was at Alabama State, the job that he did. Another guy that doesn't get his due and scratching my head, and I'm sure y'all know about a guy by the name of Robert Kent, quarterback, Jackson State. Superman could really do it. What happened to him his senior year, I think, is a travesty, and that was tough for me to watch. And then I'm gonna say those rack boys. I mean, those rack boys. That wide receiver crew at Florida A&M, Kanan Lambs, at Quay Numley. Forget the other guy's name. They were. You couldn't go to sleep at night. Those guys were going to do it. So I would say in that modern era, those would be the ones I would put Ted Sweet Flight White, Howard University, the way he dominated as well. You couldn't sleep at night there. So I would say those would be my new generation guys, I think, that are HBCU legends. Let me put one more in there too, different position. Teron Armstead. The University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, he was a grown man back then.
What about Sean Wallace?
Sean Wallace was a man. Sean Wallace was dirty, nasty, gritty. He was a honey badger. He was a honey badger.
Very smart football player.
Yes, he was a honey badger down there at Southern University. Yes, he was.
Let me ask you this, Jay.
Hold on, wait, Rocket. Let me ask you.
You got another?
No, I want him to finish about what about your 5 old school all-time players?
Oh man, you're not gonna get me in trouble. I'm gonna see all these dudes. They're gonna go looking to fight me. They're gonna go looking to fight me. No.
You can always start with Walter Payton, right?
I'm gonna take the easy way out there. I'm gonna say James Harris, Shaq Harris. I'm gonna say Doug Williams. I'm gonna say Steve McNair. I'm gonna say Willie Cotton. I'm gonna say Pernell Dickinson. And I'm gonna keep it all quarterbacks. Them dudes gonna fight me. They're my brothers.
Hey, all them gonna be there.
They all quarterbacks. Yeah, that's all right.
Hey, Jay, it's funny that you mentioned that because my line of question was going to be about HBCU quarterbacks. I come from watching Power 5 and Group of 5 football, right?
Yep.
And the quarterback position has always been highlighted at any level, right? For some reason, the last 5 years since I've been watching HBCU football pretty much exclusively, it seems like so many teams have struggled at the quarterback position. What are you and you have been, and I'll say this, in your broadcast, you often are really fair and honest with the quarterbacks. You often hint to development as being the primary issue and the patience with the quarterbacks being the primary issue. But can you just give us a longer answer about what do you think the issue is with quarterback at the HBCU level?
I think a lot of times we don't allow kids to play through adversity. It's such a win-now culture throughout. I mean, you know, if a guy's not doing it for you, you got your job on the line, you're going to bench him and go with the next guy. I don't see that. I mean, it's ironic. I'm going to the Black House Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, but my first game in Atlanta, I lost. I lost 7-0, right? And imagine if Coach Wilson didn't stick with me to say, you know what, I didn't score a point against Morehouse. It'd have been easy to bench me and move on, right? But he believed in me and said, you got to show something or else we both going to be out here looking for jobs. And you don't see that nowadays. It's a win now. Guy has a bad game, okay, you may give him 2 games, but we don't see the kids get an opportunity to grow through adversity, to learn, to prove that they've gotten better. The same throw I made as a senior, I made that throw as a sophomore, but it was bad decision making. So I'd like to see them kind of grow through a guy. I like battle-tested guys. And it's so hard to get a guy that the coach believes in that's battle-tested that can do it. And you can't blame the coaches because they got to win. And if a guy's going to hold your team back, you got to move on. But I think that's part of it. And, you know, and sometimes it's just, you know, the running has come back into the game. You know, running is a big part of the offense. It's almost like cheat code. You know, if you tell a kid, hey, I just need you to get a first down. I don't care how you get it. Well, playing quarterback is still about how many passes you complete. But if a guy can get away with just running for it, oh, okay, I just run for it, coach. That may cover up some of his flaws. And when it comes time for him to make a throw in the pocket, well, were you part of the problem as a coach? Were you telling him, hey, just run for it, just get it, we'll get it next play, right? Or do you believe in him 3rd and 7, he can pick you apart from the pocket and run if he absolutely has to?
Coach, and I also want to say this. You did a game. I watched a recording because I was at the OBC last year where you did North Carolina State and Alabama. No, North Carolina, HBCU and Alabama State.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, I watched it after the game. I thought you did a great job of your analysis on that game. You know, there was a rain, whatever, but how you handled the situation with Andrew Body and how that kind of played out in that game. I thought you were courageous in being brutally honest about what you thought was going on in that game and how ultimately they had a quarterback. They just needed to be patient with him. And you said that right there on the air. And so I like to see those kind of things, especially when you see a guy that you believe is a player and he's just being, you know, jerked back and forth. And we've had Coach Robinson on the show, so it's no shade or anything, but it's just that you saw the same thing I saw that night live.
Yeah, it should give Body a chance. He was a guy. He was a guy that could move the crowd, move the offense, and hurt you in so many ways. And, you know, that's where I try to draw the line. I mean, as coaches, you know, you're sensitive to them. They know the players a whole lot better than I do. I come in and just try and learn as much as I can week to week and watch their progression. And, you know, I don't try to question them, but it's my job to, as an outsider, to say, this is what I'm seeing. And this is, you know, I get paid by ESPN to call it like I see it. And that's what I do.
Jay, let me ask you a question. We're getting ready to go into a new season, and you've seen so many teams. You've seen, you know, you get to watch all the players, know the coach. Who are in the MEAC your top team, in the SWAC your top team, and who are going to be your surprise teams? Just as they say, a little bit too early. But who do you think will be your surprise teams, and who will be your favorites in both conferences?
Surprise team in the MEAC will be Morgan State. They got a defense that can defend all the time, and defense wins you championships. Offensively, they've struggled tremendously, but they got a defense that's good enough. I mean, every year since Damon Wilson's been there, they beat a non-conference team from the CAA, so they're close. They're knocking on the door. In the SWAC, it's curious. I'm hearing a lot of buzz, but I got to see how it plays out. I'm hearing a lot of buzz about Texas Southern. And Chris and Dishman, the job he's doing. But
wow,
it's hard to get in there to find out because they had a couple wins, and that would be a team I think could sneak up on people, and I think they could potentially sneak up on some folks. So curious about that one. But the big question for me in the SWAC is, I'm still wondering, like, when is Alcorn going to show up? When they move from the East to the West, everybody said, "Oh, the West is going to be the one now." But Alcorn has not made a run in the West yet. Right. When are they gonna make that run in the West?
Yeah.
Now it's funny that you said that, Jay, because we have a lot of people in our sphere that Prairie View, they're out making HBCU National Championship T-shirts already. So the fact that you were saying that Texas Southern is going to be a surprise team compared to what the hype that they thought, and, Coach Jackson was a friend of the show, and again, great coach. But I find that very interesting because of what you said, because Texas Southern has done it on the field. You can see them building. You can see something kind of growing there. Now, what about your favorites when you're looking at the MEAC and the SWAC?
Well, I mean, Central, Central and South Carolina State are the ones there. South Carolina State, they came in and just blew everybody away. Can they do it again now that some of those players and some of those transfers are gone? So people kind of know your offensive game plan. I just think, North Carolina Central just keeps a quality product on the field all the time. So I would say those would be the ones that I talked about. Morgan State as well. I mean, the team to beat is still Jackson State. I mean, Jackson State, the offseason, I think they won offseason recruiting. They love TC Taylor down there. They don't have all the turmoil that their closest competitor in Florida A&M has had to go through. So I think, Jackson State is probably, the cream of the crop. They're the team you have to knock off. And then for the past couple of years, it's been the Wild Wild West. The Wild Wild West, Grambling, Southern, who's it going to be? Prairie View's been up in that mix as well. So, those are the same three. But the West is still wild. And the East, Jackson State is still the king.
Yeah. Well, Coach, man, we don't have you for over an hour. I know you told me that you got to catch a flight tomorrow, right?
Absolutely, going to Atlanta. And I got to tease you. Did you say earlier you're in Texas now and you're going to do Juneteenth in California?
In San Diego.
That's California. Juneteenth was like invented down here in Texas. Yeah, and you're gonna leave the best Juneteenth celebration to go out to. All right,
my college roommate, man, and he's doing a big spiel out in California. So
you're supposed to invite him to Texas for Juneteenth.
Hey Jay, last thing before you go, because this blew up the internet last night. I don't know if you were up, but late last night, we in anticipating on you coming on the show, there were people that I just didn't believe it, Jay. I just couldn't believe it. I didn't think it was true or whatever. They say, you know how they are. They say you have some deep-seated hate for Jackson State. Like it's almost like you come on the air to pick on those guys from their perspective. Where is that coming from, Jay? Because I don't get it. I don't hear that with my ears. And have you heard that before?
I've heard it from every school in the country. I mean,
okay.
I've heard it from every school. Florida A&M thinks I got something against them. Southern thinks I got something against them. JSU thinks I got something against them. Howard University thinks I got something against them. I've heard it from everywhere I go. I just say my job is to call like I see it. As many times I say "thee I love," it don't matter. It don't matter. You say something wrong against somebody's team, and I'll take that. Have an opinion on it. They got an opinion on me. You can't win them all over, but it's funny. I got good relationships with all those people in those places there, and a lot of respect for them as well. A lot of respect for them.
And let me ask you, last question for sure this time. Which one of your top fives causes the biggest controversy? Top five. Give me 5 homecomings or give me 5 bands.
Bands. Bands by far, but homecomings is growing. And then if I really want to get them going, I talk about the best fan bases out there as well too, because I got some opinions on who the best fan bases are. And so I got some interesting topics we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about who's got the craziest fan base. I like the toughest road trips out there. I like the easiest road trips out there. Some of them are easier than others. So we like to mix it up. But those bands, I would say bands kind of launched, Give Me Five. What I saw and just going around the country and seeing it. And I was like, I just wanted to give credit to some of those bands I thought had highlight years. And it just took on its own thing. And now you got band of the year competitions for real, where they're giving out money and stuff like that. So I would say that. But homecomings are up there.
Yeah.
Everybody just keep telling me I'm biased. Everybody keeps telling me I'm biased. And my thing is, I'm not biased because I've seen all these homecomings, right? And if you've seen them all, and I'm willing to say that there's nothing bigger than Howard Homecoming. There's nothing big. I've seen some other good ones. Some other ones are cute. They're cute. G-Ho has a great name. Greatest homecoming on earth. Is it? No. It's not the greatest homecoming on earth, but it's got the best name. It's got the best name. And
I'm getting around, Jay, and I did Southern and I did Prairie View. And if it gets any better than those two, Jay, if I go to Howard and it's better than those two, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Man, you ain't even seen the Sunny Boom, man.
Hey, go check out Howard for all the star power. Make sure you got your phone out because we're going to have all the star power that you want. I mean,
I'm going to let you know. I just got a text and say Diddy won't make this one next year.
I got to go now. Y'all getting low now, man. I got to go now. Man, oh man.
Hey,
all right. Rock, what's your school, Rock? At least Campbell's going to declare where he's from. What's your school, Rock?
Hey, Coach, I went to a small school in Texas. That's all I'm gonna divulge, Coach. We don't have a football team, basketball team.
He ain't no HBCU guy, man. He ain't no HBCU guy, Coach.
Okay, I got you.
Hey, Jay,
watch yourself. Hey, watch yourself.
Jay, I got one thing though now, because my people FAMU wanted me to know, could I call you by your government name, June Jacobia Walker, and how did you not go by that and you call yourself Jay? They want to know that because they say, hey, tell June Jacobia that when he come down to Tallahassee, we're gonna have to talk to him.
You know what that tells me? That tells me that FAMU has finally made the full adjustment into being a SWAC school. Y'all had some class when you was in the MEAC, now y'all SWAC, and y'all doing down and dirty like they do in the SWAC. What they call it, rough in the SWAC. But my son is Jewel. He likes Jewel. He goes by Jewel. I was JJ growing up, and then JJ became a little too silly, and I went from JJ to J in high school. Didn't really like Jewel, and so now didn't like it so much. I named my son.
Where come from? Because you don't put it in the air.
You earned that name.
Rowan, I earned Skywalker. Yeah, I threw 6 touchdowns in my first game at Howard at home. So
we want to be part of your top 5 HBCU podcast. Put that in your pocket.
Man, you was there till Rock messed with me, then Campbell messed with the last 2 questions, man.
I'm going to make it up to you, Jay. Somebody told me that you're a cigar guy, Jay. I am too. Make sure you text Coach Cole your list, and I'll get them to you, Coach. No doubt.
We're gonna do that. That Padron anniversary series coming your way.
10th anniversary or 20th?
64 anniversary. 26 is the best. 26 is the best, but
you said Padron. My bad. I thought you said Perdomo. You said Padron. No. Oh, okay.
Excuse me. I went to Howard. I went to Howard.
My bad, sir.
Yeah, I went to Howard. Talk about some Perdomo to a Howard guy.
Will it be straight cut or V cut, sir?
Depends on which one it is. Depends on if it's torpedo.
Got you, for sure. I look forward to meeting you someday, Jake.
Same here. We'll fire up a cigar together. JC did it for you, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Hang in there, Rattler.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Take care. Wow. Okay, man.
That was awesome, Coach. That was absolutely. Hold on, let me get y'all back on here. All right, got you, man. That was absolutely awesome, Coach.
Yeah,
that was incredible. Jay was a sensational guest.
Cameron, you pulled one, baby. You pulled one, baby. Look. You gained all your feathers back, baby.
Well, listen. I got. Hey, man. Shout out to Beta Alpha Kappa Alpha down there. Those my girls. And one of my girls said, "That's my girl." I can make it happen.
That's
and
right.
that's what they came through for me. So those are my girls. They took good care of us.
Does any of those ladies have a thick in their moniker?
Well, no. This one, she's a little troublemaker. Little troublemaker, her moniker. She called little troublemaker.
Oh, okay.
Little troublemaker. She knows who she is. So
that was good, man. And to be able to get Coach Wilson in, man, and of course, Jay is the face of HBCU. Him and Tiffany. Matter of fact, we can't get no more bigger, coach. We don't got all the coaches. Now we don't got the black college journalists. Shit, I don't know what's next. So maybe presidents. Maybe we need to look at some presidents to see if they would come on and kind of talk about black college football. I mean, black colleges, period.
Hey, we got to get some presidents hired in some places. So
I know. We almost got like 20 positions.
Well, let me say this here. Campbell, can you give us an update on what's going on in FAMU? Because
yeah, I can. Well, I can, and I will say this. Hey, man, let me say this: how bad it is in Florida. The University of Florida was bringing in one of the top presidents in the nation from the University of Michigan, and because he had a DEI background, they voted him down. And this man has gotten Michigan as one of the top schools in the nation, one of the biggest fundraisers in the country. And because of the backwardness of DeSantis, they wouldn't even let this man be the president of Florida. So what do you think that's going to mean with Florida A&M University? So we have a person that is not qualified. We have a person that does not believe in the values of Florida A&M. And the Rattlers are going to strike. And they're going to make it very difficult and make it very well known.
Did that 750 get voted on?
Well, so what has happened is they voted on the range. Our foundation. So in the state of Florida, is very weird. The state only gives you $200,000 to the presidency. Everything else has to come from the school, a la fundraising.
Oh man!
Foundation. So our foundation is separate, and they're like, "Hey, we're not about to give nobody no $250,000 raise after our president has led us to be the 6-time #1 HBCU." You know what I mean? And you talking about giving you $200,000 more? So that's just insane. That is just
so
insane.
y'all,
they talking about paying her $750,000.
And what, coach? Let me give you one better, and give her a lifetime job at our law school, and be the highest paid professor, and she's never taught a class.
Wow.
Oh, but y'all have the purse strings on what her salary is going to be.
Well, that's going to be the fight. That's where the fight is going to be at. So I'm very proud of a lot of the alumni. I'm very proud of the students. And again, everybody, they're not acting ugly. They're not doing things that are disrespectful, but they're speaking their voice. So they're not going to be silent.
So is she hired or not?
Well, yes, technically she is. Well, technically when she meets through the board of governors who denied the University of Florida, she will be. So I think that's in the next week.
And the only thing she's guaranteed at this point is that $200,000 that the state is paying.
Technically, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, coach. Wow. Man, coach, you know, man, looking back, man, since we've been doing this show, boy, I know we talk about Florida A&M, boy. Right now, I wouldn't be giving them a badge of honor, boy, because y'all been going through it, boy.
Well, coach, let me tell you something. And this guy, coach, you understand this, and Rock, I want you to understand this. Jake can understand this. Our HBCUs have been around for 100 plus years. We've seen a whole lot worse from a whole lot better. So it's about being resilient. So we went through things before. You guys understand, man, we went through segregation and we made it through.
Don't we got some news, Rocky? Some Willie's
yeah, we got some
bad news.
Yeah. I actually closed that when we were talking, but I can bring it up, coach. Yeah, and unfortunately, it's one of our beloved HBCUs. Well, and I'll bring it. I'll bring the breaking news.
Hopefully, I'm praying that this blow over, or it's not true. Well,
but coach, at the same time as you say, you hope it blows over, coach, but you also want justice to prevail as well. Right. Because
you hadn't heard about it, Bishop.
Yeah, well, go ahead and set it up, Rocky. You getting ready to set it up? Go ahead.
Yeah. Let me. I'm looking for.
Well, while you're doing that, Rock, I guess I'll talk a little bit. So, once again,
Okay.
we're having an issue where there is been some allegations against the Texas Southern athletic director.
Right.
And one of those things that, again, as we're in these situations now, and what you hope, and again, and I'm saying this on both sides, what you hope is not what you hear, as they say. You hope that's not what you hear, because we want to represent our universities. If you work for our university, we want you to represent them the best way. And so now this is an issue, but I think Texas Southern did make a very strong statement that they would do their due diligence and doing the research.
I'll play this right quick, guys.
Wow.
As soon as this ad finished playing.
Or don't have.
No, the ad is not. There you go.
Gotta turn it up. You gotta turn it up.
Can you hear it?
No, we can't hear you. And Calvin, I'm gonna co-sign that don't put yourself in a position. My brother, that is the one thing I have learned, and I will tell people this. I have worked around a lot of women, a lot of young ladies, but always, no matter the situation, always put yourself in a respectful situation. Then you never have to worry about those things. So Calvin Liddell, I totally agree with you. Good, bad, or indifferent. And that's the one thing I prided myself on when I've worked around women and young ladies and stuff like that, is conducting myself.
Can you share that? Can you bring it up and share it?
Yeah, let's see.
You seem to get your audio played. Hold on, let me.
Okay. All right, hold on. Let me share. Share. All right. Did that come up?
Yeah.
Okay, let me.
Athletic director is now facing allegations of sexual assault.
Yeah.
Tony Busby's law firm sent a statement to KHOU 11 saying that a TSU staff member is accusing Kevin Granger of asking vulgar and graphic questions and touching her inappropriately. The statement also says the staff member reported the alleged assault to Houston police and the university's human resources department. KHOU 11 reached out to TSU, who sent us a statement reading in part, as of today, Texas Southern University is aware of allegations involving a senior member of our leadership team. The university does not comment, though, on pending litigation.
Wow. I hate that for my alma mater, boy. You don't like to stay in the news, you know what I'm saying? And like you said earlier, it's two sides to it. I'm pretty sure they'll get down to it. But I guess my question is so where does Kevin go? Does he's leave with pay? Do it have to go through all the way through the court situation, or do the what am I saying? When the judge make the decision whether it's going to be court?
Well, this is what I say. The school has the privilege of looking at the evidence and making a personnel decision. They don't have to wait on a legal determination of whether or not an assault occurred. Because wouldn't you say, Mr. Campbell, that there are things that are alleged that even if it's not criminal, may be certainly
absolutely. It's two things. You have an HR issue, which that's where it starts right off the rip. Then this young lady would then, if there is a criminal issue, that's when the police will look into it. But to the point where, and again, HR handbooks are much more broad. I mean, he could have called out her name, and that's enough for him to be fired. Or if he made her feel uncomfortable, using power dynamic, that can make him be fired. Now, the thing in which and I'm saying this because I don't want anybody to be assaulted. What I'm praying is that it's not a criminal action, that he did something that will cause a criminal sanction, because that means he's really invaded her space. That means he's really violated her, and we don't want that at all. So what I will say that, again, the disrespectful part, if that is, then you got to know better. And that's, so Coach, to answer your question, the first thing, probably she reported HR, and then they're going to be probably an investigation where if there is an action that is criminal, then that takes place too. So it's twofold.
And so what happens if it's just his word against her word? I guess those two is just the only two in the room.
Well, Coach, here's the situation. His word against hers always is going to lean on under what circumstances or situation did it occur, right?
Was the door locked and all that? Kind of stuff?
Yeah. Like that's going to factor into because you got you guys have been managers and CEOs. You guys always understand that you guys have to be in cover your ass mode all the time.
I call it three. You got three people in there in any meeting. You know what I mean? Call three. You got to have three people in there. You got to be and make sure if you meet with a female that you have somebody in there. Like Cameron was saying earlier, you got to be real careful about that. Real careful about that.
Now, in these situations, I'm just gonna say this, and this is merely speculation. What usually, in my opinion, determines the outcome of these situations from an HR standpoint is what was the nature of their relationship outside of work. Like that's gonna determine Mr. Granger's fate on the job. You know what I mean? Is what was it, if they had did they have a relationship off work? And if they did, what was it? And a lot of times those relationships are going to be considered inappropriate, wouldn't you say, Mr. Campbell?
Absolutely, because it's a power dynamic. And again, in most HR handbooks, if she's any line in that chain, that's going to be no. You can't do that.
And he's married.
Oh, well, see. Well, that's a whole nother headache. And I'm literally. Yeah. So see, again, this is what's disappointing. We know the mission of what we're supposed to do at these universities, and anybody, but you got to understand when you're sitting in that seat, and that is a very prominent seat, Coach. Athletic director. That's one of 12 in the SWAC. So that means, and I always think about this: if I'm one of 12, that means 100 people are watching me, good, bad, and different. So I'm never going to put myself in a position to fail. Because I'm one of the 12, I'm one of 100, I'm one of 10, and that's just me. Because so to Coach's point, if there is something where you feel that is being miscommunicated, hey, like you said, let's get somebody else in here, because if there's a discussion, an argument, things like that. So that's just again, it's just disappointing. And again, I don't want to speculate.
She was a single woman, and then number two. Of course, all this is allegations. We just reading what they said, that he asked her, was she recording him? And according to the documentation, she never said yes or no. She didn't say anything. So here's my question. Let's just say she was recording him. Is it permissible?
Well, that depends on Texas. Each state has a different law.
I'm not familiar with the law, but yeah. I know if she got a recording, it's admissible at HR.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll tell you this too, but here's my problem with that question. I'm never worried about you recording me because I ain't gonna do nothing for you to be worried about it. It's gonna be just like we have here. See, that's my thing about that. I'm not. What are you worried about being recorded? Because again, if you see right then and there, you shouldn't be doing it. Hey man, record everything. Record it. Show it to everybody. Because one thing, what you're never going to see is Steve Campbell said anything crazy. So I don't care about you recording it. So that makes me nervous about that. Before they even say, are you recording it? You know what I mean?
Now, Shonda, I agree with you. They can't fire him without a thorough investigation. But based on those findings, they definitely can make a decision. Based on those
Calvin,
findings.
That depends, Calvin. That's not true. That is a state by state thing, because I believe Georgia is just a one rule.
But it'll come down to whether he get paid. Let's just say,
Mr. Campbell, it also determines in Texas, as far as recording, it's where you're recording. Is there any expectation of privacy where you're doing the recording? You may not. You don't need permission in some common areas. But if there's an expectation of privacy, then you may need the other person's permission. Go ahead, Mr.
I was just saying that, let's say it's not true. It's not true. But you already, it's almost back to school up against the wall. You know, I'm saying he would have to have like some definite camera shit, like none of that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? I think to be able to save it.
Now let's be fair to AD Granger, and I'm gonna say this. This is the same lawyer that filed this case. This woman has hired Tony Busby. This guy has filed cases all over the country against powerful men alleging that they sexually assaulted women. Now, some of them we found to be substantiated, and in Deshaun Watson's case, those cases, a lot of those cases were settled. But in the most recent case regarding Jay-Z, it was found that case was an erroneous case. That was baseless and found not to be factual. So, you know, I want to be fair to AD Granger in this situation. I'm not assuming that he did anything wrong, but anytime these allegations are filed against someone, if they're very serious, and when it's related to a job, on the job incident, it definitely, you know, puts his livelihood in jeopardy. And you know, first and foremost, I would hope justice is served. But if in fact these things are not true, I hope somehow he can be made whole and his reputation can be restored in some way.
Yeah. You know, this one of those you split down the middle. You know, of course, you don't want the lady that's doing these allegations. You know, it's unfair if she was put in that situation. But then again, because when it came to me, it actually came to me at night. I got a call late night, you know, about it. Of course, you know, I'm a Texas Southern man, and I didn't know. And then I got a call early in the morning saying that it was true, you know, about this person being escorted and having to be Granger. And me just talking about what I know about Kevin Granger is he just don't seem like that type of guy. You know, I've been around him. You know, he's always been kind of an off to himself type guy. And so this is also shocking to me as well.
Shonda, you're exactly right. That's why when I said the nature of their relationship is going to be put in question in this situation. And even if a sexual assault didn't occur, say a sexual assault didn't occur, but an inappropriate contact or inappropriate relationship occurred, he still could be fired if, in fact, he didn't commit a crime. That's the unfortunate situation here, is that he still can lose his job even if there was no crime taking place. Now, you guys may be able to speak to this. If it is determined that something inappropriate did occur, does a school share any liability in making her whole?
Well, she's going to sue the school. But let me tell you something. As a person that works with lawyers every day, let me tell you what the lawyers say. We're going to sue everybody's name on the front door and everybody's name on the back door. And so we'll figure out who's going to pay. So they will start with the school, the president, his boss, all the way down to anybody they think. So that's just the way they do. I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's the second wave.
Yeah.
If she win the case, the school's just gonna write her a check.
Yeah, and they have insurance for that actually. So
they probably just gonna write her a check.
Yeah.
What is Shonda saying? Is there any other forms of communication or exchange between them? And she's right. We don't know at this time. Of course, I'm getting information by the hour. So
my question is, I mean, I don't know if that helps him. If you find out that there's some type of relationship that they have that's consensual, I don't know that helps him in his
it
situation.
It
so
does.
Let me ask y'all this: if they settle out of court, what does that mean for Coach Granger?
Well, here's the thing.
Does he go back to work?
No, because I'm telling you, and my mother's worked for HR for 45 years. I'm gonna tell you right now, if there's some smoke, them folk they will let him go in a heartbeat. Because if he's settled, Because to Rocky's point, they're going to do an investigation first. That's separate for anything like that. And if anything in that manual that he did, like he called her baby, called her sugar, wasn't talking to her, they can, I'm telling you, they can terminate him without blinking, and they will. Because they're not going to,
and they'll just go on and pay him off, and that way he can't come back and sue them because we paid your contract.
Well, but he might be in breach. That's what I'm saying, Coach. If he's in breach, they don't owe him anything. If he's in breach of that handbook and HR and all that is listed, trust me, very detailed, and they feel that he's done anything to breach that in that handbook, they don't have to pay him anything. They'll just cut him.
Yeah, JT said it ain't gonna save his job.
No, not even close.
Yeah,
because you got to understand something too, Coach, and you think about this too. When you're an athletic director, a teacher, you understand this. Your work, he is around women.
Yeah.
Women coaches, women athletes. If you can't have, and I'm just talking about from a PR standpoint, you can't have your athlete, well, we think he's a creep. That's not going to work.
Right.
That's not good PR.
Right.
You can't recruit off that.
No, you can't. Right. And would you want to send your daughter, you just wouldn't feel comfortable. And like I said, I know I wouldn't. Like I say, no,
Yeah, in these situations, man, I just hate it for everybody involved. I hate it for the young lady, you know what I mean? And I hate it for AD Granger in that if in fact he's not guilty of these things, I don't know that a man's reputation can come back from this, Coach. I've never personally had to deal with a character assassination of any type. But Coach, you can speak to this. You've never dealt with anything of this nature. But I think, to be fair to you, there have been things said about you that just weren't accurate and spread throughout HBCUs. How do you overcome that, Coach?
I'll be honest with you. Of course, I went through this and I fought it. And then what happened was it was over. It was over. The newspaper get a hold to it a year later because I moved to another position, and then boom, here come an article. And fortunate for me, things were called back and said it didn't happen. And when that happened, when the parties involved said that this didn't happen, then that really threw things back into my lap as far as, look, I ain't going nowhere. I told I've stood on my truths, and that's how it is. But it was a lot of things said, and a lot of allegations.
But Coach, can a man outrun the Google though?
No. That'll be there forever. It'll be there forever. And the thing about Mr. Granger, he was an HISD guy and he's a Texas Southern guy. Those are two positions he's held. With this out there, I don't know if he can settle, Coach Bishop, and everybody would go with that. I think he might have to fight this tooth and nail all the way to the end.
And Coach, it may be a situation where if they do let him go, he has to fight for his name and his reputation.
Yeah. I don't think he have a choice. I don't think he have a choice. And I tell you guys, and I'm truthful, that I just couldn't believe that he would be tied up in something like this.
Shonda says this: in Texas, recording conversations is generally legal under the one-party consent rule. This means that as long as at least one party to the conversation consents to being recorded, it's lawful to record.
Yeah, and that's most southern states.
and admissible in court, the more important deal.
And that's the only thing that hadn't came out. He supposedly allegations. He's supposed to ask, was he being recorded? And I guess he's feeling on her or trying to see or not. But here's the kicker. She never answered yes or no. Or at least he never said, she said no. you know, to be able to throw it out, you know. And if she did, and they got that recording with some of these things that were said, man, that's not good.
Well, Coach, you got to understand something. If somebody's recording, see, this goes back to, like I tell people, whenever you see somebody do something, 9 out of 10 times, that's not the first time they did it. And I'm not saying him, I'm just talking about in just general, right? So if I see somebody smoking weed, that's probably not the first time they smoked weed. That's the first time I saw them. So she probably said in her mind, whatever this behavior was that she was not agreeable to, she said, I'm going to record the sucker next time I walk in this room. And that's probably what it was. So it was a build-up. It wasn't at one time, because you don't think of one time and say, I'm going to record you, because you don't know anything's going to happen. Yeah. So this is usually a behavior that's probably going on. And like I said, again, speculating that's going on.
Coach, you said something. In all of it, you said something. This wasn't just the first time. It didn't sound like this was the first time. Door locked. Are you recording me? I can help you. Wow. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Not the first thing. If I meet somebody, and again, I meet with a lot of beautiful, and I'm saying that just to people see, I sponsor a lot of beautiful young. I don't sit back and say, hey, you got a recording on me? Because I ain't about to say nothing crazy. So I'm not worried about it again. That's why I'm saying it again. When I hear that, it kind of triggers me, because these are things that I think about all the time when I go into me. And I am in meetings. I don't have 3 people in, because sometimes I just only have to meet with one person, and I can't go find a third person. But as long as I'm on my behavior and I know what it is, and again, my reputation precedes me, and people know, if somebody will say something about me, trust me, 99.9% of people say, Steve Campbell did not do that. I can guarantee you that. That's facts, because I'm not.
Yeah. Hey, but them 12 jury who don't know you is going to have to listen to them facts.
I got it.
Hey, you look, and I hope nobody else shows up. I hope no other females show up.
And then now, see, that's the thing with this being the situation, and with it being a money grab, you know, because she did sue in civil court. What do you do? You know, if more people begin to show up against AD Granger, I hope that's not the case. But you know, historically, you know, Tony Busby is a guy that goes after his targets ferociously.
Yeah.
Ferociously.
Yeah. I mean,
what did he say? Thick 36 has on a body wire.
And I will say that's because she wants to remember the experience. So ain't no problem. Ain't no problem. Record it, because ain't nothing gonna be illegal.
Now, somebody saying that she has more. That's just the meat and potatoes of it. That she has some more to go along with that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach Cole, I hope your AD man you know.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, I want, before we get off, I do want to ask you a question, and this is kind of shifting the mood a little bit. There was okay, I'm gonna lighten the mood a little bit, okay? Because as a coach, and I want to shift something. My AD did, and I saw this. Give me a second, and I want to play this. I want you to tell me how you would feel if you were a coach and you heard this, okay? Give me a second. Because Coach, you're aware that we're going to be playing Mississippi Valley in Atlanta, right?
Right. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, because it didn't work out last time when they played them at Bragg.
Well, you know what? So hold on. I want to play this. Where did I see that at?
Now, Coach, you lost to Tuskegee the year you won the championship, SWAC championship, Coach.
Yeah.
Did that put pressure on you, Coach?
Put pressure on me. We were 8-2 at the time. So Tuskegee is a traditional winning program, and I knew that going in, and you know, it was just a loss. It was just a loss.
So, Coach, I'm gonna play this video, and I want you to tell me, if you were the coach of Mississippi Valley, how would you feel about this? Okay?
Yeah.
This is my AD Suggs. I found this because people were in such an uproar after this.
Schedule. We saw some people that have something that belonged to us. It's called a win. The good devils of Mississippi Valley. Well, guess what? They decided that they were coming to FAMU, Georgia, also known as Atlanta. And so on October 4th, we won't be in It'll Been a Mississippi, hot off the press. We will play Mississippi Valley State University in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. It's their own game. It was their choice. We were set to go out to It'll Been a, I don't know where we were going to stay, with Jackson, I guess. We were going to bring some people because we travel well. But as I told the guys on yesterday, I had to tip out of one of the sessions to hop on that call. And as I told them, I said, it's their game, but it's our stick. Now, y'all coming to our home. When y'all roll up in Mercedes-Benz, that's our house. And so...
So, Coach, now, if you my friend, and you Coach Buckley, and everybody's, what would you think when you saw that, Coach?
Well, 9 times out of 10, I've been on the other side. Being the one that's gonna hand it to him. But woo, Coach.
That was strong, wasn't it, Coach?
That was strong, Coach. That was strong. That was strong.
Now, shouldn't y'all tiptoe into Atlanta, considering what happened last time y'all played?
Absolutely.
Those Delta Devils?
Hey,
absolutely not.
Listen, man. Listen. A broke clock is right twice a day. So they got they won, and I tell people this all the time. Hey, man, sometimes God works in mysterious ways. I think we're in a much better position coaching wise. So I think we'll be ready to go. And again, I just thought that was fascinating because people would just lose their mind that she would say that. What is she saying?
Can I say this though, Rocky? And you know this, Cowboy. That's swag. That's black college football.
Thank you, Coach.
Selling tickets.
Thank you,
Coach. And then we all gonna go out and have a drink afterwards and laugh and joke. But that's swag. That's old school black college football, right?
Wait a minute, hold on. And no, fam, you ain't never lost a vet. Now, when he played at Prairie View, no, don't say Willie ain't no, sir. So don't be right with that false information. FAMU's only lost the Valley one time in our history, and that's been that last year. So no, Willie, I don't know what he did at Prairie View. We talking about FAMU.
But that's black college football, Coach. That's what you do. You talk smack.
But thank you.
And definitely I'm gonna use it if I'm Coach Buckley. As a motivating tool, and if I'm Coach Cozy, I'm using it as a motivating tool.
Hey, what's the business decision here, Campbell?
Well, I'm okay. So I'm gonna say like ID. This is Valley's home game, and I'm pretty sure. And again, that's not gonna be a well-traveled game. And Valley knows that. I went to me and Scotty actually last time we played it. Well, maybe not the year after that. And then we went back again. But again, they looked at it, and the promoter probably said, "Hey, listen, you guys are going to get about
Danny Wilson, and I won $500 on the lunch break with AJ Jones."
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.